Hey guys, so today is the beginning of one of the biggest projects I've ever done on my channel. I wanted to see if I could make an entire custom set of pixel art tarot cards. For those of you who may not know already, tarot cards are a form of fortune telling. These cards are used as a way of seeking new perspectives and insights on the past, present, and future. A full tarot deck consists of 78 cards, 22 of those being major arcana and 56 minor arcana cards. The major arcanas represent bigger, significant life events, while the minor cards tell of smaller, more immediate, short-term circumstances. I apologize if I got anything wrong because I knew practically nothing about tarot cards going into this video, but I've always found them fascinating, so I thought what better way to learn than to make my own custom deck. Today we're going to be making the first half of the major arcana cards. I hope you guys enjoy. The first thing to do is decide on a color palette. This will basically set the mood for the entire deck of cards. When making color palettes, I love to visit LowSpec, which is a website full of user-created palettes that are ready to use. I found this Lost Century palette by Coffee Moth, which is the exact vibe I was looking for. And then it was time to make the cards. I started by laying out the frame of the first card. I'm not even entirely sure that this is the right dimensions for a tarot card, but it looked pretty good, so we stuck to it. The first card is the Fool. I learned a lot about tarot cards while making this set, and I figured I might as well share some cool facts as we go. The Fool card is considered number 0 in the deck, and if you're a big Persona fan like I am, you'll probably recognize it as the arcana that represents the protagonists of those games. The Fool card means purity, innocence, and ignorance. If you pull this card during a tarot reading, it probably means that you still have a lot to learn about the world, hence the Fool card being number 0 in the deck, essentially a blank canvas with infinite potential. There's also a popular theory that all major arcana are actually telling the story of the Fool's journey through many different lives and walks of life, learning important lessons along the way. Kind of makes sense if you think about it. The next card is the Magician. This is definitely one of my favorite tarot cards because there's nothing I love more in this world than an old wizard. I'll say it now, the internet definitely reached its peak with wizard posting. The Magician Arcana is a reminder that you are unique and possess many gifts and talents. Pulling a Magician card during a tarot reading is a sign that you need to stop putting things off because you feel like you aren't ready yet. Nobody's ever truly ready for any venture in life, so it's time to put the things that make you special to the test. I love this card so much. I think a lot of people spend way too much time planning to learn something new when they haven't even tried it yet. Fear of failure is a dangerous thing, so don't make your dreams wait. Next up is the High Priestess card. The High Priestess Arcana is all about awareness. Drawing this card during a reading tells you to start listening to your internal dialogue more and trust your gut. Stop searching for answers in the outside world and start listening to what your intuition tells you. I spend a lot of time making character portraits, so it's been cool forcing myself to make different kinds of characters that I wouldn't normally. When you're making any kind of art, it's so easy to get caught up in your own way and forget to step out of your comfort zone. I think the only real way to improve your style is to recognize when you're holding yourself back. You really just gotta go back to the basics sometimes and experiment a little. You can probably tell that I was struggling to fit the title High Priestess into the card. Little did I know, it only gets harder from here. Our next arcana is the Empress card. I've never designed intricate headdresses before, and this project has already taken me about 5 hours so far, so I used a lot of references for this one. I found some really beautiful character designs made by Arredondo, and I took a lot of inspiration from those. The link for more of his work is also in the description. I highly recommend checking them out. The Empress Arcana represents beauty, love, and compassion. It's said to be the most feminine of any tarot card, and it's also deeply linked to Mother Nature. Drawing this card means you should spend more time touching grass, which unfortunately isn't happening much while I make these cards. Okay, on to the next arcana, the Emperor card. I think this is the first card I really struggled on. I was kind of just freestyling at this point, and I don't know if that was the best idea. It took a long time to get him to stop looking like the Burger King, but I'm satisfied with the result. The Emperor card represents power and control. Drawing this card during a reading is a reminder that you probably have more control over your future than you think. Your actions directly reflect the outcome of your life, so play the game wisely. Next up, we have the Hierophant card. Now, obviously, we all know what a Hierophant is, right? Come on, guys, all together now. A Hierophant is a priest from ancient Greece that solves mysteries. Obviously. The Hierophant Arcana represents spirituality and guidance. Drawing this card is a reminder that you need to trust that the universe has an answer. Follow your moral and spiritual instincts, and the truth will come in time. I've never been a spiritual person. I'll even admit that I went into this tarot card project pretty skeptical of the whole mystic side of things, but the more I learn about each card and their respective meanings, I don't know, I kind of understand why they resonate with so many people. These cards hold power because how we relate them to our own problems, and I think there's real value in that. Next up is the Lover's Arcana card. This is the first card I worked on where I tried making a more dynamic pose without a direct reference. I do use references for every card for stuff like outfits and hairstyles, but I'm also trying to improve my drawing from imagination skills when it comes to poses and overall character design. I originally assumed the Lover's card represented romance, but it actually focuses on close relationships in general. Drawing this card is also a reminder to pay attention to your decisions and also how those decisions might affect the people you love. The next card is the Chariot. The Chariot Arcana represents determination and willpower. Drawing this card during a reading indicates some kind of victory in the near future. Reaching that victory is a matter of combining your mind, heart, and spirits. I think this is the Arcana that resonates with me the most out of all the Arcana, not really because of the victory part, but I feel like finding some sort of control and direction to strive towards is really what drives me to make projects like this. I say it all the time, but if you just decide to sit down and work on something you love, that's kind of a victory in itself. For this card, I considered drawing an actual chariot drawn by horses, but I think the design we landed on is pretty fitting for the spirit of the card. Next up, we have the Strength Arcana. We're definitely getting more anime by the minutes. During this whole process, I've been looking at so many of the famous Rider-Waite deck designs, and I think the Strength card is definitely one of my favorites. Here's something kind of crazy. This deck of tarot cards was created back in 1901, and it wasn't until the 70s when it actually gained popularity. The artist was Pamela Coleman Smith, and believe it or not, she was a mystic herself. It seems like she wasn't recognized for her work at the time because she was a woman. That's why the Rider-Waite deck isn't even named after her, but instead it's the publisher names. And that sucks because I think this is probably the most unique and revolutionary deck of cards ever made. Anyways, the Strength card represents courage. Pulling this card during a reading is a reminder that you are strong enough to persevere through any of life's challenges, no matter how tough. The next card we're making is the Hermit card. Actually, you know what? Maybe this is the card I relate to most. The Hermit Arcana represents a need to be alone. Pulling this card means that the best way to work through life's challenges is to find a quiet place of solitude to process things by yourself. It sounds a little sad at first, and I guess in a way it can be, but I think sometimes being alone is actually really important. As an introvert, if I go to parties with friends, I need a very long time to recharge my social battery. It's not because I hate being around other people or anything, I just need to be alone in order to really organize my thoughts. I think that's probably pretty common with game developers and YouTubers. You have all these big plans and goals, but the only way to really work towards them is by yourself. Is loneliness a worthy trade-off for pursuing your dreams? Who knows? The next card is the Wheel of Fortune. Shout out to my girl Vanna White. This is the first card I've made so far that doesn't have a character on it, which is a nice change of pace. Making this card was actually pretty fun because it was just a bunch of repeating patterns before adding shading and highlights. The Wheel of Fortune Arcana represents instability and the unpredictable nature of life. The wheel is forever turning. Sometimes you'll be on top and sometimes you'll be at the bottom. Drawing this card during a reading is a reminder that nothing in life is permanent. You just have to cherish the moment we have now. And hey, if you're ever in a dark place, you just have to remember that if you wait long enough, eventually you'll be in the light again. This was by far the hardest card to fit the title, but we made it work. And finally, we reached the Justice Arcana. As you might have guessed, this card represents the fact that every action has a consequence. Everything you experience in life is a direct result of the actions of yourself, the people you surround yourself with, and everyone who came before us. If you do your best to better the world around you, someone down the line will be thankful for it. If you do the opposite, well, you just gotta think about who that's affecting. I'll give you an example. My action is sitting in a computer chair and making tarot cards for hours on end, and the consequence for that is plenty of back pain. Hopefully another consequence is you subscribing to my channel to see me make the rest of the cards. Thanks a ton for watching. We're still only 11 cards and 15 hours into the 78 card deck I'm hoping to have done by the end of this series, so stay tuned for the next one. I know this video is a bit different from what I usually make, but if you guys enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments. What's your favorite card so far? Anyways, have a good one, guys. Oh, and join our Discord server. Bye bye now.